All right, everybody. This is Tales from the Flipside. This is Monday. This is episode 245, I believe. As the title says, Quantumania. I think I fucked up too. I'll do that when we do the news. I'll replace it because I didn't actually put a slide for Quantumania. We can talk about it. We're gonna talk news, market report. People got pickups, and just doing our thing. So here we go. I swear I gotta stop watching dropping the F-bombs the first 30 seconds into the video.
Did you swear?
I do it like I did last week too, I think.
You don't roll sometimes, you know?
Yeah. I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay if I do one. Okay, so let's talk about news.
You didn't even intro about Black Adam. I've been waiting a decade.
I'm sorry. I didn't watch it. I didn't want to, you know how we are. We can, it's an opening weekend, so I didn't even have a slide for this yet, so I gotta go.
We're amateur hour today.
I know it's terrible. I can do it.
We're Sandman Sims where you need them.
So here we go.
Mercenaries, did you watch Black Adam?
Yeah, anybody besides Leg? I know Leg saw it. Anybody else?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I saw it.
I got a kid. I don't see anything. I'll watch it on Disney Plus like a loser.
It's fucking
Warner
good.
Brothers. It'll be on HBO Max.
Or HBO Max, whatever. Same difference.
Can we do that first, and then we'll go into the news?
What? Black Adam?
Black Adam.
Yeah. Give me a second. Let me.
I don't think we have to spoil or anything, but I mean, there's not that much to spoiler.
Yeah, we're fine.
If you haven't seen the spoiler, you've been off the internet. I don't know how you.
I know.
The spoiler emitted multiple cheers and yelling, and I went with two of my buddies, and one of them yelled so loud I was kind of like ducked my head. I was so embarrassed. But I think if you're on the internet, I think you've figured out what the after credit scene is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and honestly, I wouldn't have been looking forward to it as much if I didn't like the movie so much. So really enjoyable.
Okay.
Really enjoyable. I recommend people should go see it.
Yeah, it was a good, it was an action flick wrapped in a superhero. Not, it wasn't a Snyder, trudge through 2 hours to get a little bit of action. My brother-in-law went with me and my kids, and he said it felt in the realm of like Aquaman to him, where it was, on the better half of WB stuff, not the slow trudge stuff. And I thought that's probably about appropriate because that kind of feels that it was more action than Aquaman, but you kind of had that level to me where it wasn't, Batman and versus Superman and the Justice League where it's so trudgy, and it wasn't completely fucking dark.
Right.
You could actually see things.
Yeah.
My kids went in and were like, one of them's like, I don't know if I believe The Rock is Black Adam. And I'm like, I don't know if I do either, but he pulled it off an interesting way, I thought.
What character was the main bad guy or antagonist?
Jesus, it's
hard to explain.
One of the many
Justice Society's like the bad guy.
A demon. Like it was irrelevant, the bad guy, honestly.
Yeah, it's that devil character.
Sebulba.
Sabek.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sabek, this dude, I'll drop a link to.
You're not going to get any spec value off of that.
Yes, you will. You need to buy it all.
They didn't tell us Black Adam's mom's name, Mike.
It's Martha, man.
I mean, I thought somebody said Adam Smasher sucked. I don't know. Yeah, he wasn't great. But I thought Hawkman was really good. Dr. Fate was fantastic.
That's what I heard. Dr. Fate was fucking savage.
I mean, he
People
was
loved it.
He was in his Pierce Brosnan was in his best.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like The Rock felt very Schwarzenegger-esque. Like it definitely felt like I was watching Terminator 2, but
the Terminator.
Hey, at least you went with a good Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing an ancient Egyptian. They just didn't even try to have him do the you know, I will guess we'll go with ethnicity or whatever. He just played.
He's the Rock.
He played the Rock playing a bad guy, but he wasn't super Rocky. You know, he didn't do a lot of the full
he was
cheese.
not.
There was some.
He wasn't jokey, but he was definitely like the straight man to everybody else's. I mean, the comedy was him trying to do things that were kind of modern-esque, but it just him adopting the attempt at the catchphrase just so soon. I was just like, this movie feels really short for you to be, on screen for 5 minutes and already trying to like have the relationship with the kid and do the catchphrase. And I'm just like, this just feels like they're trying to repeat the recipe of Terminator 2.
I mean, they rushed it fast on that. But I mean, again, they were keeping the action moving. The story was, in my mind, you got about 10 minutes of story and 80 minutes of action,
Yeah, true.
So you forgive it. He just did. I mean, I get it. I think he wanted to put out something that was going to keep your attention. Yeah, I agree. Cyclone and Atom Smasher were just extraneous.
Pretty much, yeah.
But I think that's maybe the point, is they just picked some people that didn't matter and weren't in use anywhere else.
I like Mo Almer in it too.
Who?
Mo Almer. Her. Is that her brother? That's her brother, right?
Oh God, he was great at the end.
He's a stand-up comedian. He's got Netflix specials and stuff if you haven't seen him. And he's actually just did a Netflix show called Mo. And it's a semi-autobiographical of like him moving, coming here as an immigrant, living in Houston, and just I don't know. But anyway, I do recommend watching Mo and his stand-up, and you'll see that the stand-up is and then whatever. So I thought he was good in it. Good to see him.
He was the Michael Pena character, so to speak. This the solid comic relief when you needed it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's also the friend on Rami. Like Rami's really depressing but funny at the same time if you ever watch it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't terrible. It definitely was like, yep, this is a rock action flick vehicle. I mean, I got what I expected. I wasn't looking to get an Oscar caliber performance. It's a character that I can give two shits about. So, it was entertaining enough. It kept my attention. It was better than some of the other stuff that's come out in the last 2 weeks. Like the last Halloween movie was trash. So I'll take it. So
yeah, it was. I mean, if you're gonna go see the movie and see a spectacle, you got what you were coming in for, man. You got some action. You got enough comedy. The cast was. I mean, it's a really good cast.
I'll give you that sneaky link, Carter, and we can.
I even like that kid.
I did see Terrifier 2 this weekend also.
Oh, is that the one that they're saying people are passing out and like puking in?
It's fucking gnarly.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so what's your reaction to it?
To Terrifier?
Yeah.
I mean, it was it's gore for the sake of being gore, and I love that it's set now, like present day, but like I love like the 80s style, like the actual when they actually do, like costume makeup and fake blood. I like that way better than like CGI horror stuff.
So they did practical effects.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not super. The other one, the first one's way low budget, I guess. I haven't seen the first one. I was going to watch it yesterday. Because it was like, it's long. It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. And so we were watching it before. Jesus. We were going to a Halloween party on Saturday, and we watched it before and didn't really have time to do both of them. And like, that's a lot of gore. I don't know if you need 5 hours of gore. Like, you can chill one at a time's good. So yeah, I wouldn't pass out, but there's like, I mean, just the ridiculous, like he scalps this girl and then cuts her arm off and then starts pulling slices of her. And then she's on the bed and barely like alive. And her mom comes in and she's like talking to her mom while being like basically brain dead, while he's just sitting there, just the mime clown, just doing crazy shit. And yeah, it was it was gory. Like if you don't like gore, you just don't even bother.
Is it
Okay.
like is it on a scale like Saws and like Hostel? Remember Hostel back in the day? People were
Yeah,
freaking out over that.
it's harder than any of that. It reminds me of the only movies it'll remind me of are some of the I'm not great with all the names, but
Like
anyway,
Cannibal
some of the
Holocaust.
older stuff. Yeah, stuff like that. So
What about the other people in the theater?
I saw it here. I had a straight bootleg.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so it actually, but we did like I got a big TV surround and stuff like that. So we literally like pulled the blinds and shit. You know what I mean? To like make it as and like on volume 70 through the whole thing to make it.
Oh
like,
Jesus!
ever.
I'm like,
Yeah, my friends. It was just two buddies of mine, two dudes, and they're just like they're literally yelling like screaming, and I'm sitting like, geez, man. And I think it's funny. I'm not squeamish when it comes to that, but it's like it's out there. It is out there. So yeah, we were gonna go see it in the theater, and then I was eating lunch, and I was like, dude, and I have the same app that I use, and I was like, dude, it's on, and so I started it to see because sometimes it's
grainy or crappy.
Yeah, it's like it recorded. I don't like watching stuff like that.
Cam.
So yeah, I don't like watching the cam stuff. So I was like, it was a real legit feed of it.
Nice.
Because it was in the theater, I think, like a month or 2 months ago, and then it kind of got re-released, at least up here, because it got more word of mouth, more buzz and stuff. So anyway, it was yeah. I would, if you like that stuff, you got to see it. If you just not horror movies, like if you just like Scream and stuff like that, probably not your movie. But,
Probably not.
yeah, probably
Know your
not.
audience.
If you like effed up stuff or don't mind it, check it out. So I really want to see the first one now.
Nice. But here we go with the news after Black Adam. I didn't even pull a Kang thing while we were talking about it. I should have. I'm an idiot. I know it's terrible. I'll do it right now. Let's talk about this. So Alien, we can talk about this. Anybody got any good things about this? No, maybe so.
I mean, at this point, as somebody who is a fan of the franchise, I don't trust Ridley Scott anymore. After Prometheus and Alien Covenant, I just don't trust Ridley Scott anymore. So we'll see what happens. I'm more excited about the one that's the series being done by the guy from Fargo. So whenever that shows up, I'll definitely be excited. But
so wait, there's two different shows being developed?
Yeah, so they're doing a second Alien show, and they're letting Ridley Scott do this one.
What's the premise difference?
I know the first one is the aliens finally make their way, or they're making their way to Earth, because that was something that just, other than AVP, had never really been done before, except maybe like in the comics. So we get a chance to see what the current state of Earth is when the aliens show up. Because we never got an explanation either in any of the movies of there's prison colonies in space. There's a bunch of basically glorified space truckers in the first one, space marines in the second. So you can probably assume that Earth is in a real screwed up state. So what's been said is that he wants to focus on the socioeconomic status of what would cause people to be willing to go on basically a suicide mission into space for years and go into cryo. Earth's got to be really jacked up for you to be like, you know what, I'm willing to leave the planet and go into cryostasis for a year or 5 years or 10 years at the prospect of a better life. So that's the first one. I don't know what Ridley Scott's premise is going to be. This is all that's been stated about it at this point.
Huh. All right.
I got this is Mr. John Z's contribution.
I thought this one was interesting because it's pages. It's a preliminary sketch for New Mutants 98. It's not the final art. It's, I guess, Rob says he generally will do a sketch and then use a light box and then do kind of the final draw. And he's got quite a few of them, I guess, but this is a pretty iconic piece. But the question is, how high will it go because it's preliminary art? And if you've been around long enough, somebody we know has a really nice piece of preliminary art related to this, but I thought it would be real interesting to see. It does have a comment from our friend Dinesh saying, he's getting a lot of buzz about people going, well, preliminaries are, it's one of those things people don't pay attention to, but something like this might be the one to kind of get it to go. And not everybody does, preliminaries like this. So
Correct.
it's not the highest quality, but it, you definitely get a good grasp of the image, though.
I mean, it's character we care about from artists we can give two shits about. So,
Yeah.
Well, we give two shits about, but he's got a loyal, crazy fan base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll somebody remind me. We'll keep this up so we can. Give you
I'll let you know on that one.
I wonder how many of those Rob still has.
He implied enough. He also did say that he's got many of the originals that he's keeping in his family's for his family.
No.
So at least that means they're not coming out for a bit.
That's interesting. This is you, kind of, Chris. I guess Seahawk concept art reveals unused Daredevil villain.
Yeah, so I mean, they always do this after one of these Disney Plus series come out. Is that to stay in the media cycle? They start talking about all the stuff that they had planned to do. This being that Bushwhacker was going to be originally, part of the plot around Daredevil in the series, but they ultimately scrapped it and only had Daredevil around really for one episode, and then dropping in the for like all of 10 minutes of all of 5 minutes of the finale. But yeah, so it's just it's fun to hear about the stuff that could have been, and instead of Leapfrog, it could have been Bushwhacker or whatever. So
I just don't know why would they use the Bushwhacker? I don't.
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? I don't know. I mean,
I don't even know who the Bushwhacker is.
That's what it is right there. I just
It's Luke Bush.
I was gonna say, does he work at a salon?
I don't know. I mean, I just want to lick Daredevil's head. Be all good, man.
Oh God.
So yeah, we'll see. I think we talked about this last time, but this is, I guess he's just giving interviews now, saying he's definitely knowing comics. I just,
Well, so it's funny because people were just like, why is he just like coming out of woodwork? And they're like, every couple of years you hear from Alan Moore being like, I'm definitely done with comics. And somebody had to make the point of, you do realize that he's just not pulling a press conference to tell people that he's done with comics. Anytime something involving one of his properties, he's getting interviewed, they always ask about him and comics. Like anytime DC pulls something of his out of the woodwork, it's always like, well, let's talk to Alan Moore and see how he feels about it. And it's like, yeah, like I just want to talk about this thing that I made. I don't really want to talk about the thing I made 10 years ago or 30 years ago.
Alan Moore is the modern Ditko.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like, I mean, the guy got hosed. I mean, the guy really got hosed. He trusted DC. He was like, hey, I really want to do this thing with these, like, these old Hamilton characters. And they're like, no, we have plans for those. Well, can I make like an analogy character of them? Yeah, sure, by all means. Do what you want to do with that. Oh, this shit was successful. Yeah, man, we'll definitely let you do whatever you want to with these after we take it out of print. And they just never took it out of print. That's the reason why those rights have never reverted back to Alan Moore, is because as long as they keep printing or keep using those characters, and once they crossed over into the main DCU continuity, it was game over at that point. It's like you're never getting those back again. So,
yeah, he was fucked.
Yeah. Speaking of wrestling, our man, I don't know if this is true or not, but Kevin Feige reportedly broke multiple tables and chairs and yelled "fuck this job" when he wrote the proposed script for Secret Wars. So, with all that being said, I guess this guy's going to have to rewrite the script. I want to know if did he suplex somebody through a table, because I hope he did.
It was a power bomb.
Power bomb.
We still don't know which Secret Wars it is, right?
we can probably assume it's going to be a weird amalgam of both. So,
Okay.
So, I don't know. I thought it was newsworthy. I don't know. I mean, it's just if it is true, it just shows you how intense he is a good word, I guess. Intense. I don't want to call people crazy. Intense is a good word. this is just a filming notice in Chicago for Ironheart, I believe.
Yep, Ironheart. So if you're in the city, you might see some things. So
cool. I'm more excited about this X-Men 97. So I was showing with Chris in our chat that we were talking about this. Is I'm excited that they hired people, writers, and people on the series that were actually true fans of the series. Which, you know, it's just not like it's just go get famous guys who've done some stuff before and just bang out some stuff, and it's going to be, you know, an okay version of it. It's going to be guys who like. They went home like I did at 4:30 in the afternoon or 3:30, wherever you're at, and just watch the love triangle that was Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Wolverine. So I'm excited, to say the least. I'm more excited about this than probably anything else.
I say it's probably a close second of things to come in the next like year or so. Yeah, I mean, again, I've seen the Ant-Man Quantumania trailer multiple times before it released. So finally seeing the finished product, that's really got me geeked about what, you know, Kang and whatnot. So
yeah, and then this is just some characters that'll be in the series. I'm sure there's going to be a ton more. Nothing too drastic, I don't think. And then last but not least, Quantumania. So I watched the trailer. I thought it was great. I'm actually really hyped for this. Like, I was kind of hyped for the Spider-Man movie, but this is like really hype. I think it's not just Paul Rudd. I just think it's going to be a great film, and you know, with Kang and everything. I think for me at least, I guess the other Ant-Mans I wasn't really pumped about it. This one just brings a whole different new flair to it, I guess.
It almost feels like it's not even going to be Paul Rudd's movie, you know?
Yeah,
he's just in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, because we didn't even in this trailer, we didn't even get the MODOK clip that was in the original 2 that they ran, because the one they ran at San Diego Comic-Con had a glimpse of MODOK. The one they ran at D23, which is ever so slightly different than the one that we just got online, they also ran, I think, a clip of MODOK as well. So, like, they're still keeping that, you know, kind of in their pocket a little bit. There's just going to be a lot going on in this movie, and I'm just excited to see what it means for the MCU going forward. Because, I mean, let's be real about it. Like, the MCU needs a little bit of an injection right now, to be real about it.
No,
I mean, when this was announced, we're all like, "Yeah, it's just an Ant-Man movie," you know?
Yep.
It's got potential to kind of be that one that.
Is this the Infinity War? You know,
I think it's more of the Avengers. Like, just kick it off. It's not the Avengers, but you know what I mean? It's going to kick off where are we going?
Okay.
I hope, because otherwise we're out, because they got nothing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, if you look at the schedule, I mean, for what it is, everything that comes after this really starts to get back on track to, like, we're going to a specific goal of Secret Wars, you know, so whether that be, you know, an amalgam of Secret Wars 1980 with Secret Wars 2015. I mean, there's strong rumors and whispers of, you know, Doom getting his intro very soon. So us getting that Doom capability and story arc in, you know, movies to come. So it just seems like they're finally getting their act back together again to pull us back to a central storyline moving forward.
No,
go ahead, sorry.
No, it's okay. I think it's tough too, because you got to think. I think we were spoiled, right? You know, you got to think about this back in the day too. I mean, they weren't really doing series, let's say. I mean, they did Netflix and stuff like that, but they weren't doing like crazy amount of series. They were just pumping out movies, and it's easier to if I'm focused. If I'm Kevin or anybody, I'm focused on one thing, right? I'm just movies. I can inject all my time in this. Now you got to inject your time into. Oh, I got 3 TV series going, and I got this going, and I got that going. You know what I'm saying? I think, you know, like you said, quantity over quality, right? Like,
well, we're also, I mean, look at Star Wars. We're also risking, you know, oversaturation. Sometimes people get tired of it. Like,
right.
I'm seeing a lot of chatter on the Star Wars side. Like, just nobody cares.
Well, so the thing was that should have never happened with Star Wars, because like there wasn't enough of it to be oversaturated. Like, there was 3 movies, a animated like thing that, let's be real about it, only the hardcore fans and people who recommended it by hardcore fans watch. So there were 3 movies. We've had 3 movies in the last 10 years. I wouldn't
Or
call that
Rogue One, maybe.
and Rogue. Oh, okay, sorry. Rogue One
5.
and Solo. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we had 5 movies in 10 years. Can you really call that oversaturation? I mean, I think it was just like they weren't what people had been waiting. I think it was the anticipation thing that got Star Wars. It was like, other than the prequels, there hadn't been anything, and all of a sudden it was just like new Star Wars trilogy, and then between those Star Wars trilogy movies were slotted in with Rogue One and Solo, and I think it was like, oh, this the last stuff was kind of stepped on product, and this new stuff, and again, I enjoyed the first and the second one for the most part, but again, to the hardcore fans, it was also stepped on product. And so I think they just were like, we've been waiting years for these movies to come out, 20 years for these movies to show up, and it didn't live up to the expectation. I think that's what just did in Star Wars at that point. And people,
No, and even Mark Hamill's like, I didn't believe in what they were doing at the end.
yeah, but it's easy for Mark Hamill to say that when they basically like killed him off. At that point, he's like, well, I'm not getting any more checks off of this, so I'm gonna speak my mind, and because I know they're never gonna bring me back now, so I'm just gonna
Well, I mean,
throw a little shade.
there's been a lot of shows, and I mean, other than Mandalorian, not many have really caught on.
I mean, what other shows were there? I mean, live
Boba,
action.
nobody loved Boba. Obi-Wan, nobody loved that per se, and
Which is
Andor. I haven't heard anybody even mention exists.
So people have been I mean, the people who are like the TV folks have been clamoring about Andor. I think the issue is that Andor came at a point when I think Andor has the issue of you're not Mandalorian and you're based off of a time period that, like, let's be real about it. So there you go. Like, I mean, people love Andor. I think the issue is that the casuals have an issue watching things that don't contain lightsabers, and so they're not in it for anything other than lightsaber and characters that they saw and have a connection to. And Andor, they don't. Like, Cassian.
I haven't watched it more, but just because I want to get some more episodes, because I really thought Rogue One was one of the best things to come out.
Agree.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Okay. I guess I don't want to really go too deep into this. So, like, I thought about doing thoughts and what do we think is going to happen in spoilers, but we'll just.
Was there anything we took out of this new one that like people need to be paying attention to? Let's go with that. Anything come out of this new preview that
spec wise
really needs to be focused on?
I think it's all on the table at this point. I mean, there's MODOK. There's if you ain't already bought any Kang, you're pretty much SOL at this point.
I don't know that I'd be buying MODOK. I mean, if you don't have him by now, you're probably effed.
Yeah. I'm just
that window is small.
Yeah, I'm stating things that have been like connected to this.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody started doing some deep cuts on a bunch of those characters that popped up and like confronted them when they first got to the quantum realm, being like maybe one of them is like Cyclops, like from some random like Marvel comics from the 80s. I was like, that's a deep cut that I mean, that's a quarter bin book, so yeah, make your money if you can make a connection there. But
I mean, Cassie Lang's your next bet, because I mean they've recast her enough times. They're hoping that something happens, but I don't know. We'll see, I guess.
I mean, they're building up for a Young Avengers team. Let's be real about it. Like it's like there's no denying it at this point. Like there's even rumors and whispers that the twins
nice work, Justin.
The twins in their teenage form are going to show up in House of Harkness or Covenant of Chaos, whatever they're calling it now. So
interesting. Okay, that's all I got for the old comic book news. So you are 4 more with a marker party. Let me start with the first one.
It's me now. All right.
I don't know if you want to go in order. Or
I got it. I'm coming.
Okay. How about I add this one first? How about this one? So we'll take this one off, and then Mr. Carter, he put this one up. So this went off. Nickel Comics #1. This sold for a paltry $35.50. CGC 7.5. So good for this guy. I always liked this book.
It's a terrible cover, but wonderful all at once.
Yeah,
right.
It's got to be tough to find that.
That's a tough grade, though.
7.5.
I have no idea on the price because I didn't research it. Because
it's a pretty 7.5.
Yeah. So back looks great too.
It's a nickel comic, so it's fucking cheap.
Yeah,
That's cool.
They must have had a favorite sticker place over there. Right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, you know, so he
little,
bought that.
little Comic Connect.
Yeah,
Or wait,
yeah.
Comic Link. No,
Yeah.
Comic Connect.
Or Reggie.
Or Reggie.
It's so much goddamn work to like. I am anal about like.
I hate
those
this shit, dude. Oh, I hate that shit, dude.
Yep, I don't like. Yeah.
Is it
no.
Comic Link that does the one that
Yeah.
sticks forever?
Oh, look at that. Look, little $5 holler. I like this today. That's good. I like that. We need more super chats, man. I feel like since we've nobody super chats me anymore. Star Wars needs to put what's old behind them and go.
Because you're not wearing the freaking jacket.
I know. I haven't had a reason to yet. I mean, how many more prequels can we take? Next Obi-Wan is when he was a baby. So I don't know. I mean, stuff.
Some vendors are making sales, but full capitulation mode. That's a good story.
I'm not caught up, but I do like Andor.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't say anything.
No, that's okay.
And also, I like the dude because he was what's okay in the Netflix show on the drug dealers.
Narco.
BMF.
Yeah, he was a badass in Narcos.
Oh,
So
Narcos.
makes me sort of like him. He was
Uh,
right? Or
I wanted to kind of talk about this a little bit. I know it's kind of with the market report. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, let's all be honest. If the comic book market is down, I guess you would call it in some aspects. Talk to vendors. Couldn't give away slabs. 80 slabs. Didn't get one offer. Raw dollar books, low cost items. Market's really changed. I thought about doing this maybe next show because that's a big topic to kind of. That's my fault. That's my fault. I didn't see it. I'm a loser. I'm an idiot.
Let's save that for next show. That's a good topic. I like
it. Because I think it's a bigger topic, and I know it can get to a lot, and a lot of people have a lot of different things. And I think we could crank out and get at least 40 minutes probably on that subject. So
all right,
without
we'll
further
put a
ado,
note for that and dig in.
So
all right, some interesting stuff this week. I'm gonna start with my man Black Adam. This is the second cover appearance in a fanzine. I don't know what you classify it as. It's one of those things that kind of popped up later in the world of something that people knew about. It was pre-Shazam 28, post Marvel Family 1, but he's on the cover. That's the real killer of Marvel Family 1. He's not on the cover. But price-wise, it's really quite in line with all the others. I didn't write all the numbers down, but if you look at it, there's so few sales. There's only about 8 sales across 6 grades. None of them really duplicate almost. And it really just plugs right in there. So no real craziness there.
okay, is that football?
Right?
I believe it's The Rock, but like
Okay.
The Rock.
Wow, a little extra.
Little extra Segu. Marvel Family 1, a 2.5 sold for $8K.
Yep.
Which was really disappointing for those of us with Marvel Family. There was a 2.0 that sold on the 21st, so 2 days ago for $8,700 at auction. So more bidders a few days ago than the other day, which is confusing to me because it's generally getting well reviewed. So I would have thought the one post would have sold at least on par. There was a 10K sale of a 2.0 in June of this year. And in July, the kind of highest recent sale of a good grade was $36K on my comic shop for a 6.0.
I think he fucked up and he put Dwayne Johnson's real name and not The Rock. Joking.
I'm gonna make a comment. I said I sent my stuff to my comic shop.
Yes.
My one complaint.
Yes.
My comic shop doesn't put fire fucking emojis in their listings.
Yeah. Should tell him.
And, I think Buddy's a fucking genius, but he's missing the fire emojis, and I think it's costing money.
Yeah, it probably is. He needs diamonds too.
Yeah,
And there's a double
his
space.
emoji game needs a little bit more in it.
And there's a double space between the 1 and CGC.
That
shit
fucks
drives
it
me
up
crazy.
too. Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
fuck with
yeah.
that stuff.
So a
Yeah.
whole character he's wasting, and it's at the beginning.
Yep.
So Shazam 28 was this was kind of the book because it was
Yeah.
available. I won't say there's not a shit ton of copies, but there's a decent number of copies. It was the end of a run of a book that didn't sell very well. So this is really, to me, people that were collecting Black Adam, this was the book that people were going for.
And $12.50 isn't bad. Remember, you can find these books at least back in our day for cheap.
So
Dude,
I mean,
9
you
years
got it for
ago,
nothing if you got in 5-6 years ago. Well,
I
maybe
pulled
8 years
3
ago.
of these out of a back bandit for $3.95.
I think it was longer ago than we think. This movie's been in gestation for.
It's like dude. I know when I pulled this. This was like 9 years ago. This was like
Yeah,
the
it was
start of
fucking
CBS.
forever.
This is like pre-CBSI. I pulled this.
Yeah, I mean, I remember not finding them because they had already gone.
Yeah, and then there wasn't. I didn't find many, but I did that, and I grabbed. I think 27 is first Kid Eternity, right?
Yeah, and then there's
that never sold. So
No.
nobody
so
bothered with Kid Eternity.
the high water mark for this book was exactly 1 year ago. A 9.6 sold for $3K.
Wow.
The low this year was actually the beginning of October, and it sold for $900. So picked up a tad, but I mean, it pretty much sold for between 1,500 and 1,000 all year. I mean, there was about a dozen sales. So it is not, the movie has not affected spec significantly. I think the issue is you're dealing with action movie fans and comic fans, and it's more just people coming to see a rock movie. So I don't know. And again, it's DC spec, so we're all fucked.
Yeah.
All right, into the rest of the books. Bone 1, an 8.5, decent copy. Actually, it's down a bit. In March of 22, which is the high water mark for comics, I believe. I think somewhere in that spring of 22, an 8.0 sold for $2,900. In April, a 9.0 sold for $3,600. So it's significantly below both of those, a half of a 9.0 almost. And an 8.0 sold in the spring for $2,700. So we're definitely down close to a third on this book, which is interesting for a book that's so damn rare. I mean, what's the print run? We think a couple thousand, 3. I mean, it's low.
It's low.
Maybe it's 5. I mean, it's not much more than that.
There's a balancing act to it. It's got rarity has to have demand as well. So
I think it's always in somewhat demand. I think the other problem is the Netflix show died, so that doesn't help either.
Yeah.
So it's back in limbo. But I argue on the demand thing, because this goddamn thing is a perpetual bestseller on like Scholastics for decades.
True.
So,
I mean,
it's a weird little book.
Kids wanting it and like people wanting to expose their kids to it and being willing to like invest in like the character's first mainstream appearance type of situation. So
I think this is one of those books that probably has better legs than many of them, of these, Copper Age kind of high books. I mean, I love The Crow, but The Crow was really tied to 1990 something. Bone is something that has kind of been exposed to generations at this point. I mean, my kids all read it. So somewhere along the line, it's more in the Scooby-Doo realm of perpetually interesting.
yeah, I see it.
So I don't think it's going to ever really fall off a cliff. All right. So the other spec of the, coming up is the Black Panther. And sorry, Chris told me that this was not a good sale.
Yeah, no, it's one of mine. Hey, full transparency. Sometimes even having the inside information, like you can still get screwed. And this is just one of those examples where if between Letitia Wright, like the stupidity that she had, and what's going on kind of in the world of comics and film and stuff like that, and people kind of just being like anti a lot of stuff right now. It's not a good look for this book, at least. Now,
There's
I will
also
say,
a lot of people dropping copies. I saw, I mean, I had to be at least 5 auctions for 9/8 going when yours went, and most of them sold between this price and a tad under 4.
yeah,
I
will
think there's a
say,
lot of people dumping inventory.
yeah. For a moment there, you brought up the Campbell one.
Yeah, it's here too.
That one's still getting a decent bit of love, whether it be that variant, that one or the regular cover one. Those are still selling pretty well and holding what their prices were.
Well, this is a significantly rare book. This one, I mean, what was the high watermark? Somewhere around 700?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, we talked about it in another chat. So another book, Black Panther 1 Marvel Knights, right? That was a $300 or $400 9/8 back in the day. Now it's $170.
True.
So
this one I did dig in because this one's a tough beast to crack. There's only been one 9/8 sale on GPA at least, and it was April of this year, which is 5K, and that's the high. I mean, that's the comic kind of high watermark. That's at May, April time zone, February, whatever. So for a 9/6, which is the only 9/6 sale on record, to be 3K, that's pretty good money because a lot of times a 9/6 is usually half of a 9/8. But on a book like this, man, they're just freaking ghosts.
It makes that $450 sale last week look that much better,
right?
That much more of a bargain.
That was a sale. I don't know what to say.
Wasn't that a raw copy that sold?
Yes, it was, and no back picture. So I can't say what it looked like, and nobody else did. But I think if you're blind buying, you feel pretty good about it either way.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of still a no-brainer.
Yeah. So, like if the back cover's on, it's worth it.
Even if it's I mean, even if it's a 9/2, you're all right.
Yeah, for sure.
I just throwing in a foreign. I didn't have many of them, but this was I love the Newtons, the freaking Australian ones. The wild colors just make them all pop and look so interesting. They also have posters in them all, which many of them are not comic related. Like you assume it's going to be an Iron Man poster or a Thing poster. Like some of these books have random ass things. I found one the other day that had Kenny Rogers in it. Not this one. I don't remember what's the poster in here, but it's just a poster.
He's a living legend. Kenny Rogers.
He is a living legend. I know. But yeah, nice sale. I mean, these books used to be $200 or less all day long, so selling very strong. Dino and Detroit for a little M&M.
Yep.
Tough book to find. April of this year, a 9/4 sold for just under $1,000. So for a supposed near mint copy, which theoretically is 9/4, $365 is a good gamble.
Yeah, I'm pissed. I didn't see this.
I don't
got this.
What'd you say there?
Dino, you would have got this.
Yeah, probably. I don't know if I don't know how farther up I would have to go. I mean, I'd probably cap myself at like 4 1/4, I guess. But and like it probably died here, and then it would be like a $200 book.
Yeah. How did you even get that?
This was Dennis told me this. I thought this was one of the ones you had to like get. Thought you had to send in books to get it, but I can't remember.
It was an Odd Duck book.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly the same as that Campbell Wolverine, but it was something in that vein.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider 1, the Smith variant.
I don't know if it was a subscription. Like I know it was XXL mag. I thought it was a subscription, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Thank you.
Anyways. Sorry.
This one maybe got a little heat because what was that? What toy company had the release of this? It was at SDCC.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Was it Slideshow, Mondo? Somebody had a version of this out. We suck, sorry, but I know I saw it.
It was. Yeah, I'm sorry. SD Mattel, I think.
Oh, okay. So in September of this year, it sold for $16.25. September of last year, it sold for $21.75. So it's still down, but I mean, it's a very popular book because this is way better cover than the 1 in 50. Like, this is the cover. I wouldn't
I
throw a 1 in 50 out of bed, but
There it is. HasLab. I'm sorry.
I think
not
they're.
Haslam's, HasLab.
I mean, in all honesty, they seem as rare as each other. There's no I don't think there were no extra diamond sales for this book. It didn't show up any packs or anything like that. So I think,
no, there probably is a 2-to-1 or very, very close. But, I mean,
to be honest, if you think about it, like the stores that got 25 probably got 50. There weren't any store variants for this book because it was the next one, the Del Auto that Simon did. Which is still amazing. It's his best cover easily. But yeah, so
or the Venom.
Hold up, I'm just now noticing that's $1,300 for a 9.6.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a book I let go of too soon. I had I don't think I have a 9.8 of any of them, but I had a 1 in 50 and a couple 1 in 25s, and I let those bitches go many years ago. And
yeah, me too. I had a 1 in 50 9.6. I want to say I sold it for like 400 or something. It's really too low.
Yeah, when it comes to this book, I remember not buying on the dip.
I think I don't want to say it, but I think I had a 9.8 of one of them, and I don't want to even think about it.
Yeah, I think I still have one of these, unless I just sold it, man. I'm gonna look in that box.
I don't want to look at my records, or I'll be sad, so I'm not gonna do it. But I feel like I had a ridiculous grade of one of them. Just a nice, cool, nice pre-code horror book cover. This is one that doesn't get talked about a lot, but gorgeous, huge flaming skull. Gotta love it, especially because we just talked about Ghost Rider. No price issue, but I thought it fit well. Invincible 1. I hadn't seen any of these pop up in a minute, so I just thought I'd look at it. High watermark September of last year, 6K.
Our lawyer friend was looking at that.
High watermark of this year was June for 4,300, so it's still at a nice low point. I don't know. I'm not sure it's the point I'm going to buy back in, but it's come down. What I really am pissed off about is this one. I think I took it off my search history finally. This set, this is less than it cost you to buy it initially. It was SDCC variants. They were $100 a pop. I had a set that I'd been building, and when Invincible Season 1 came out, I sold it for, I think, $1,600. Woo. $1,500 or $1,600, and I've been looking to replace it. And I had it in search results for freaking 2 years now. Nothing popped up, and I just happened to catch this putting together a market report. I'm like, I would have jumped on this in a heartbeat because it's tough. There's only, I don't remember the print run, but it's not high. And these omnibus compendium collectors are intense. So somebody got a hell of a bargain because usually the number 1 sells for $500-$600 by itself.
Damn.
2 and 3 are pretty common. 1 is rare. Got to jump down a few here. Here's one I haven't noticed sell in a while. I'm not going to say it hasn't, but Swamp Thing. 9.8. High watermark. Again, take it with a grain of salt because they've just divided out the newsstand and non-newsstand. But October 2021, a $3,700  9.8 sold. So we're close to half. But, again, I take a grain of salt. That could be a newsstand, and I don't know. This is one of those books, though, that just is tough and people fucking love.
Yep.
Like it's not a... I mean, it is a spec thing, but also just people love it. It is a... We are your book. Randomness here.
Ooh.
I have no idea. I kind of got in a wormhole here of random shit, but this is a Charlton romance, which to me, most of them are crap. It's not even an interesting cover to me. Anybody has any reason why this sold? Let me know.
It's usually the image has to be striking, and that's mainly it.
Or somebody's first work. I got nothing on this one.
Yeah.
Like, I can usually at least make a guess on a romance if it's something and go, all right, yeah, okay, I get that.
It's weird. Like, a cover like this is no different than the next Silver Age romance cover, but that next cover would be worth like maybe $10.
Or cents, yeah.
You know, so it's
romance is its own little fucking ball of shit. Like, we can pick out a few cool ones, you know, when they do the pop art or something just truly risque. I got nothing here.
Looking, I don't see anything either.
It is weird how some of them just pop. Speaking of that, I do this market report almost every week for many years.
I think it's the last issue.
Oh, last issue. Oh, okay, that still seems like a stretch, but okay.
Yeah.
And outside of Ghost Rider, Tim Holt, or a couple other characters, I never see Westerns. I set a limit at like $250 in auction prices, and look, that's where I start the search. I saw a stretch of Westerns sell.
I was wondering why you had these on here.
Blew my mind. Blizzard Comics, big seller. Now they're all Atlas, 1950s pre-code Westerns, but like, would any of us pull this out of a bin?
I mean, it's
goddamn $1,200 almost.
I would on this one, and not saying I'm like the smartest guy around. It's a black cover and it's a VF Plus, and I know it's from I'd just grab again what he paid. I don't know. I wouldn't pay that amount for it. I wonder what he paid for it, honestly. But I mean, if I saw something like that,
some of them were high grade, but some of them were just like fine or very good plus. Like there was a stretch of a dozen Westerns. The other one's this one. I mean, I know this is a high grade, very fine minus, and it's a technically #1 issue, but like I would pass this up and not fucking think twice.
Yeah, I wouldn't give. Yeah, right. It's like I wouldn't give it a second look.
See, the first one I would have grabbed because it's like a single digit. This one, I wouldn't even know what it was. Like,
so I don't know. I don't truthfully. Who freaking knows? But if you're wandering in a weird shop and you see Atlas Westerns, it's probably worth at least a second look.
Correct. This is a pedigree. This is a pedigree, right?
This happens to be a pedigree, but like I said, if you pull up the seller and look at last week, there were at least a dozen, if not 20 Westerns that I couldn't have picked out a shit, thinking they all went for probably close to 500 and up. There was a few maybe in the 3, and I was just like,
I don't know if he's joking. Are you joking? Are we joking here? I don't know. Interesting.
That feels like a joke.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some rumors, but like we're not talking whatever. Right. I don't know. It's just like I know the Westerns that pop up. It's Tim Holt with Ghost Rider covers. It's the Frazetta covers. Occasionally a Two Gun Kid key, but like these were just out of nowhere, random ones, and it blew my mind.
So if you're going back to that Swamp Thing 37, the high watermark that you were asking about, it was a newsstand. So,
thank you.
Yeah. Funny enough, though, that it sold 90 days prior that same year for $1,000 less. So somebody bought it from Reese and then reposted it, and it sold for $1,000 more.
Huh. They hit the right time.
Yep.
I mean, this is one that I think we all were kind of chasing about 5 years ago, and it was like a $300-$400 book, and we're like, and then all of a sudden it just went nuclear. And it
was all that talk about like Justice League Dark and Constantine getting his own standalone, Zatanna getting her own standalone, and blah blah. Like it was when they were just getting DC Universe off the ground, and Swamp Thing had his own standalone series, and then before they canceled it,
Constantine had his own series, right? Or what? No, was he in another series?
No, he had his own. He had his own, and then he got sucked into Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then there was talk of giving him his own movie or series on HBO Max using the original actor. And then like a couple months ago, Keanu was like, "I'm coming back," and that dude That's how that dude found out that he lost his job. Was basically the announcement that Keanu was like, "I'm coming back to play Constantine," and that guy's like, "Oh, I guess I don't have a job anymore." So
DC's real confusing because I also saw DC killed Constantine movie, but maybe not that Constantine movie and a different Constantine movie.
they killed the one with the actor from the television show.
DC's so fucking confusing. Though I will tell you, I have a friend that he's a guy that read comics in the 80s, 90s, and this is one on his want list, and he has no care of the spec thing. It just sticks in his head from being like one of those stories that was fantastic. In that run of books that's amazing. So yeah. Close, maybe one more book, maybe two. Hold on. No. Okay, a couple more. This one, we probably talked about it before, but a little bit of Cornbread. First Frank Miller Pro Art. This random issue of Twilight Zone. I know Ozzy chases this damn book all the time. A nice, very fine grade raw, sold for $300. So maybe take a look in the random gold key bin that we usually skip over for this one. It's probably a book you can get for $10-$20 from a lot of dealers not paying attention or less, and make a few bucks off of. And it's Frank Miller. And last couple, Wizard 1. Honestly, this sale, not a ton of Wizards graded. What I took away today that I didn't know, I had known there was an SDCC variant, which he's wearing a different hat, right? There's something wonky about it.
Yeah.
I think he's had a different hat. But as I was looking at the census, there's a newsstand, which at once makes perfect sense, but something I wouldn't have thought about. So put that in your brain. Look for it. Price-wise, this is right on key for the book. What really made me stick out was this damn thing that I honestly had never heard of. This is an ash can that came out prior to Wizard 1. Wizard Guide to Comics #1. What'd you say, 36 pages or something?
30 pages, like a couple months before Wizard 1 proper dropped.
I have no idea. It looks like it was mailed out. I'm sorry, I should have kept the back picture, but there's a back picture, and it looks like it was just mailed out to people. I don't know if it's comic shops. I don't know if it's people that had ordered it, but it has it was shipped out as is on the back.
Is this not numbered though? It says number 1.
No.
No,
It's not like one of X.
Oh, it says triple gatefold cover gold foil.
No.
That's not it, obviously. I'm trying to find if there's ever things that graded.
I can't find anything of it.
I can't either. Let's see what this one says.
So, it's just something cool, unique piece of history. I do find it funny that they had Spider-Man on the cover with the McFarlane pose, and then they got McFarlane to do one. So,
I'm just looking. I'm sorry.
It's one of the things I just in all my years had never heard of this thing. So when I find something new, I just think it's cool. So
interesting. Yeah, I don't see anything. That's weird. I don't see anything on this. Huh. Things that make you go, huh? Pickups? I don't have any, bro. I got pickups next week. I know that for sure.
I got some stuff.
Okay.
I don't even remember because of missing last week. Like if I've shown some of these guys. So again, picking up some raw book goodness. We got some New Mutants and Uncanny 266.
Yep.
Unfortunately, no newsstands, but they are very, very clean. So I was happy.
Oh yeah, they're not newsstands. Throw them back.
Yeah, throw them back. They're not worth it.
Shout outs to the CEO for making this one happen. He sent it to my attention on somebody on our comic book collecting or our comic swap was trying to unload some books. So we got nice little burgundy label 9.8 of this guy.
Love it.
Woo!
Love the red label 9.8.
Wasn't able to acquire the entire set because somebody managed to slip in and grab the number 3, but still managed to get the number 2 and the number 4 all in 9.8.
Nice.
That's what your boy does.
And last but not least,
that's a great set of covers.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's actually as a hardcore Wolverine fan, that was when I thought I would never own a Hulk 181. That was like my Wolverine grail. It was the first, when I first started making any real money, it was the first comic book I ever bought off of eBay. And was like, I can't believe I'm sending somebody $70 for all 4 of these comics that I across the internet. I was like, this seems absurd to me to be sending somebody $70 in Canada for, and the person was like, "Yo, they're Canadian copies, so I'll sell them for a little bit cheaper because nobody wants these." And I held those books up until like 3 years ago and sold them, and they all graded out to like 9.6 or better.
And you made a premium on them.
Yeah, but also speaking of Hulk 181, so everybody remembers that 7.5 that I bought like when I was shopping cross country
this was amazing.
from a shop in Denver. I'm blanking on the name of them. I think like Hall of Comics or something like that. Shout out to them in Denver. Well, that book graded out after pressing it clean to a 9.0 white pages.
Jeez.
Good stuff there, my friend. Holy shit.
So again, a book I traded to get. So I think I maybe had $600 of cash in that book. Yeah. So I looked at it, I was like, this book got press potential, and if they're willing to take trade on it, I will gladly do it. So this is a shout out to the community.
What got pressed? What got pressed out in there?
Did you do that, or did you send that to somebody?
Oh no, I sent that. I think we had him on the show one time. Chris Myers. He's my go-to for Silver Age big books like that. He can work magic.
That's a book that like people will put on their like, here's my work page. That's a hell of a press.
Yeah. So I mean, there was a bunch of bins across the top, like dimples all in the back of it. I mean, the back was just dirty. It was just a book that somebody had clearly had put no work into and sent it straight to CGC. And I was just looking at it, I was just like, well, if nothing else, it'll present better. But yeah, I mean, he put in the work to clean the living shit out of the back of this book. And it's honestly, you got to struggle to find where because there's an absolute little micro tear in the top of it that presented more apparently before the press. But after the press, it's basically like flush now. Like you can't find any of the defects really that were there that were like the fixable ones. So yeah, I'm super happy about that. This one's gonna get posted at some point on eBay or to somebody, but I got $4,000 worth of wiggle room in the book now, so that's always a good place to be. So
oh yeah.
Gorgeous. So fuck the Black Panthers. I don't care.
Fair enough, you made up.
Yeah,
that's funny. Cool.
That's me.
Anybody else got pickups? No.
Okay. Seriously, nobody.
Wow.
I actually have nothing.
Okay.
I got a Raslins in the mail.
I got next week. I got something. So.
This is also Baltimore Comic Con, so whoever's cruising up to Baltimore, hopefully we'll have some stuff pickups. I don't know if I'll be back Monday or not.
Yeah, no big deal.
I went on a road trip.
Oh boy, 0? Nothing.
You got nothing.
Nothing.
Wow.
That's how it goes sometimes. That's how it goes sometimes.
Damn.
What was your road trip? Like 5 minutes around the block? What are you trying to do here?
Nah.
Did you go to that con in Pittsburgh?
No, I was working.
Okay, I don't know. Okay.
You went to a con and worked and still didn't get shit?
No, I heard our mutual friend, we all know probably Big John. John went to a show in Pittsburgh. He said foot traffic was decent. I don't know. We didn't talk. He didn't. I didn't text him. I should have. I don't know.
That show in Pittsburgh's always got a lot of foot traffic, but
I don't know if people were buying. Let's just put it that way.
Was it Steel City Con?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, we had
no comic swap meet.
Yeah.
Okay. That Steel City Con always like has a lot of foot traffic, but is shitty like booths.
Yeah, we just had earlier in the chat, if you guys were reading, we had 3 Rivers Comics in there. He's still in there, I think, but saying that people they wanted cheap shit. They did not want any slabs. I think he said he had 80 slabs up for sale. Nobody even sniffed them. So
I think you gotta
it's tough going right now. Let's put it that way.
You gotta be in the right place for slabs, man. Like I go to some shows and nobody wants slabs, and you go to some shows and everybody wants slabs. It's a difference between. It's almost different species of collectors. Like there's people that just want the cheapest thing to have a copy, and then there's the people that want like a slab. And
well, this okay. Let's be honest here. I mean,
I want the best deal.
Yeah, that too. And I think
Either way,
We're a different breed too. We look at everything with like a calculator in our brain. We're like fucking beautiful minding it all.
that's terrible. Well, like me and Leg did Charlotte like a few years back, and like people were just digging through dollar books, dude. I mean,
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Here's an example. IndieCon, you're gonna sell a lot of dollar books. You'll sell a few slabs, but like it's 80% raw books. You go to Baltimore, people are going to spend some fucking money, and they're looking to, go to
SDCC too. I mean,
it's a big money con. It's different, and I've been to Pittsburgh, and man, the few times I've went to shows there, it's a lot more like indie. It's going to be a lot more of the dollar books and the raw keys that people can get that are going to sell.
But let's be honest too. How many people? I guess SCCC is their own beast, and same thing kind of with NYCC. But how many people from NYCC who aren't like us have been saving up the whole year just to go to that con? You know what I'm saying? To buy a bunch of books that I think
it depends. I mean, a lot of it's about the exclusives. Like honestly, if I had a con to pick to sell at, I don't know what my choice would be, but it wouldn't be San Diego.
No, I think it'd be Baltimore. I think it'd be Charlotte. I think.
So even Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte.
Charlotte wasn't good for us.
Indy, we did okay, and I know you guys sold out it before.
Indy's cheap. That's
Indy's cheap.
Like you can get in for $500 for a whole fucking weekend.
Yeah. The problem is
nothing.
Well, now the problem is on Easter, like idiots.
Yeah, they keep. Yeah, so it doesn't even bother. I don't even bother with it. Yeah, and we've had I talked to well-known Phil from Vintage Comics and Toys, and he's saying he's trying. He tried to talk dealers into this is you either got to hold on to your stuff or you got to have enough back inventory to sell to get through till at least next summer to start, if not another year. A lot of the sellers, especially whatnot sellers and stuff, man, they're trying to get by on think they're going to get all this money for exclusives forever, on these free, which is great because they're free books to a lot of those guys, but they're gonna they don't have inventory to get through to keep doing this, and it's just it's tough. It's tougher going out there. Stuff's not selling for what it was and what it's gonna be. So I think maybe after Baltimore, or we'll see at Baltimore if people want to, if people are going to be dropping their prices or not, because you're going to want to have to sell. And most of us, we know we can get books for on the internet right now. I'm flying across the country more to have.
You're going for a hangout.
I'm going for hangout. I want to get some books. I want to dig. I want to have a good time. It's one of my favorite places to go. I go eat crab cakes the same place every day and start the morning with Red Bull vodka.
If I could go, I would just go to go fucking hang out and drink.
Yeah, that's it. I think I spent $6 last year.
Yeah,
I looked, not including food and drinks, obviously.
I looked. My wife gave me the go ahead to go, and I looked for plane tickets. $200. That's all it was, round trip. I'm like, oh boy,
you better go.
I don't even have a plane ticket home yet, but I got one to get there.
I can't. I got a kid doing fucking travel soccer, and it's screwing me here. So I feel like Stein. But the comic market's a weird fucking place, just like everything else. A lot of people that were dabbling are gone. A lot of people that were making a shit ton of money on easy stuff. It's not easy right now. All the stuff that was selling for double what it was last year is selling for half. And fucking exclusive market, which used to be a few dealers, now some of these books have fucking so many exclusives week after week after week.
That'll be interesting in 10 years.
Con exclusives, I remember Baltimore a few years ago, there was 10 exclusives.
Yeah.
And most of them were fucking cool. That one year there was the black exclusive that had a few copies, and there was the fucking foils, and that was it. And now how many exclusives were going to be in Baltimore? Probably 75, I bet.
Baltimore, I doubt it. At New York, there was that many. I don't think those people all went back in.
I don't know if
it's going to be much of a presence there from some of the stuff. I know we're going to have. I mean, there's going to be issues because on New York's floor, man. PSA and started grading the Funkos. So PSA and Funko went live on the eBay app. All right. So they're the world's first ever graded PSA graded Funkos, right? They're selling them on there. They just throw them at buy it now and they'd sell right away. Man, I've watched the first 5-10 minutes in. They've got 17,000 live fucking viewers by just putting out an app push. You know, I didn't sign up, dude. I don't know if I've ever. I mean, obviously, I sell comics and almost nothing else. I don't know if I've ever bought or sold a Funko on there. So I don't know if that push went to just literally everyone with an eBay app, or maybe a little more targeted. I have no idea how they did that. But then Whatnot did the same thing. Like 2 hours later, it's just a different guy from PSA with a different guy from Funko, and they go live and and I'm sure that was that was an app wide push. I think it got up to like 700, which for Whatnot is a pretty damn big show.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not like one of the Paul brothers or something like that, you know, or Post Malone had like 15 or 20,000 or something like that. Post Malone kept breaking that, but yeah, we're gonna have to see a lot of these people going Whatnot exclusives. eBay is trying to buy the comic sellers. They're trying to pay the comic sellers full time, and I know there've been big offers of like, well, what I would consider big offers, like, you know, to do exclusive contracts. I know people have been offered like 15 grand to go exclusive to eBay.
No shit.
Yeah, and then there's other, and they're trying to hire people. I mean, honestly, think whatever you want about some of these sellers or some of the YouTubers or the influencers or whatever the fuck you want to say. When they start getting even bigger offers from either one to go exclusive, because a lot of the influencers are actually paid by Whatnot, and they get yeah, that's what they do for a living. Yeah. And but I mean, there's gonna be for Tom or for Scaff, for different people, like the competing offers, if they're not there, they're 1 second from being there. I can't speak like completely personally on all that stuff, but at the same time, you just don't have the power with eBay. And if eBay they own Funko, is it, or they own half of Funko, whatever it is, like, dude, eBay's gonna, if they're gonna Funko and eBay is gonna be at a con, they're gonna block Whatnot from being at a con. Yeah, like that's just gonna happen. Like there's
what I remember about Funko was, it's about a year ago. You used to be able to, you know, I was searching doing search by categories, and all of a sudden one day it went from being a comic picture on collectibles to a fucking Funko, and it went, huh, the world has changed.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just it's a big deal. Funko's a big deal, and it's funny because Whatnot was originally developed as a live sale Funko authentication service app. They were Funko only, and clearly they're doing everything on there. So I don't know. We have Whatnot publishing though, man. Ninja Funk sold 105,000 copies in JPG from that Spider-Man Boost book. And I mean, 105,000 on a Whatnot publishing platform. Yeah. Like, I mean, there's a lot of variants, obviously, but like that's badass. And plus, he's an awesome guy.
I'm gonna not say anything about that topic. Just even though I want to, but I'm not.
The Ninja Funk sales, or what? The Whatnot eBay.
The self-publishing. I have thoughts, and I'm just not gonna say anything. I have.
I mean, they've had a couple big books, but it's indie stuff. You know what I mean? Well, obviously, it's indie. It's not like they're not trying to make Marvel books.
No, I know. We all know the reason I'm frustrated, so I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah. But speaking of the whole eBay, eBay.
Whatnot's an interesting beast, though. Like, because it's trying to take the fucking YouTube and the fucking Facebook Live and all that and make it one place, but somebody says it's going to be MySpace. Somebody says it's going to be great. I don't know. It could go fucking either way. Yeah. I'm being drunk talking over, but go, Dino.
Oh, no. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Like you said, I mean, eBay's, it's funny with all the other things that popped up, not even just Whatnot. It's not a crush on Whatnot or anybody, like Facebook Marketplace. Remember back like 2018, 2017, whatever, it was just eBay, right? There was no Instagram, there was no Facebook Live sales, there was no Whatnot, there's none of that shit. So it's, it's going to be interesting how they're going to go through all this. But
yeah, and it'll be interesting to see, like, when eBay finally does do the live pushes, You know what I mean? They got if you got an app wide push as a seller from eBay, let's be honest. I mean, I've had app wide pushes on, and I'm just talking about competition. Whatnot's been good to me. As long as I've been there, I've got stage spots. I've got some of the exclusives. I'm not on the payroll. Just so anybody wants to know that I'm not on the payroll. I sell my own stuff. But yeah, it's it's gonna be real interesting if I have a chance to go to try eBay live stuff and see how it goes with that many viewers. Because if I get 20 people in a Whatnot show, it's not going to go that well. If I get 100 people in a Whatnot show, it goes really well.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just there's more cash out there. It's really that simple. So if I get some sort of eBay push and I got a few hundred people that's serious about buying, that's a game changer. And eBay's been around for 25 years.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if we because we all know multiple sellers on eBay with 6-figure fucking feedback.
yeah.
We're not them.
Yeah.
But if you're a 6-figure fucking eBay seller and they're going to give, all the people that bought a book from you in the past a push, that's some fucking serious eyes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably top few hundred, not in feedback, but like as I don't have hundreds of followers on eBay. And if they start doing live, obviously that's gonna pick up. I'm seeing if I'll do that. I probably got 1,800 or 2,000 or something on Whatnot, but that's just because it's a completely different platform. You know what I mean?
If eBay could figure out how to make followers important, it'd be game changer.
Yeah, I saw that I had a few hundred, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, man. I mean,
just over the years, and I don't even advertise the eBay. I stopped advertising eBay when Google Plus died.
No, I mean, I'm not. I think your sellers you've sold more in the last couple of years than I have, but at one point we were, both nice, solid 4-figure sellers, and but you'd only have 100, 200, 300 followers on a great day at that point.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm going with I don't know. The live sale thing. It's here to freaking stay for whatever you want to do.
Entertainment value in it.
It's entertaining. It's common. In China, they sell produce that way.
Yeah.
Not kidding. Generally we actually follow the Chinese trends on a lot on technology and things like this. They're usually a little bit ahead. And live sales are going to be where it's at. Being entertaining is going to be where it's at. We like eBay because everybody goes there and this is the book. These are pictures of it. This is, we're going to pretend shipping is free and look at my other books. And that's your whole listing. And you just don't worry about it until it sells.
The interesting thing will be though, like, Whatnot is a little seller friendly and eBay is a lot customer friendly, and I don't know how those two meet.
Yeah, I don't know either. I've had a couple so-called returns or whatever on Whatnot where people, I didn't know this book had like a spine tick, and I'm like, I didn't tell you. I showed you on camera what it was, and I didn't tell you it's a 9.8. Like I don't know what to say here. And so some people, you can't go in, you can't do like partial refunds. You can't do, there's certain ways to do stuff. Like in half the time they do have a messenger now that you can turn on and turn off. Since I got the messenger, it's only like little complaints I've had. But imagine if you're selling 40 books at a time, which is guys like us, it's about where we would be on there, depending on inventory, of course. You're selling 40 books at a time instead of, 40 books every month or two total on eBay. You're going to get more of those. So they have to go through some sort of process within like 2 days to mail Whatnot the book, and then they make a decision. And these people that told me they applied for refunds through Whatnot, I was like, okay, if it works out or whatever. I had one that was a friend. I sent him $20 on Instagram, whatever. But the other ones, I don't want to be a dick. My hands are tied. I don't even know what I can do as doing a return or something on Whatnot. So they just go ahead and they try to process.
Any more
I don't know if they got
money
money
at this point.
I don't know if they got money back. They didn't. Whatnot didn't take any money from me. Whatnot didn't ask me any questions.
Half the time you don't know what's going on eBay. You don't know if eBay pays or you pay or fuck. Who knows?
Yeah, this is true.
You have zero control on either of them.
Confusing, also, man.
Well, It's good. We'll how about we table this and we'll talk about it next week because we want to talk about the market. We'll talk about this.
All right.
It might be a boring show, but we'll talk about it.
It might be a good show if Sean and I get enough to drink.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, probably gotta wait 2 weeks. I don't know what time I'll be back. I don't know if I'll be back.
Okay. Well, maybe
I literally don't have a return ticket from Baltimore yet. I'm trying
boy.
to figure out what I'm doing, so I don't know if I'm coming straight home or not.
Okay.
So I'll figure out how that goes.
Simple man. Sean needs a place to sleep.
Do it. All right, boys.
I'll teach your kids all kinds of cool shit, man.
How many apples are in the tree? How many do we drink? Fucking
The
all.
whole tree.
Oh boy. All right, boys.
Trash can beers at the casino this weekend, everybody.
All right, boys. Let's go.